Tequila. Tequila. Hey everybody, welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this wonderful little 8-stringed instrument. My name is Mike DeJong, and today in this video we are going way back. Way back to one of the very first hits in rock and roll music, and this one is still a great song. It was revived a few years ago in a movie featuring Pee Wee Herman, but this song is called Tequila, originally played by a band called The Champs in 1959. Yeah, even before my time. And, you know, originally the parts were played on acoustic guitars and electric guitars and saxophone, of course, the main lick on saxophone. But it's really fun to play on the mandolin too, and I will show you those main licks and chords in this tutorial so you can have fun playing Tequila, either jamming by yourself or jamming with other musicians. It is a lot of fun to play this song, okay? So stay tuned for that. But first, a little bit of business. As usual, if you're new here, please, thank you for tuning in to RPM. We really appreciate your support, but don't forget to hit that little subscriber button, the red button on the way out. If you are a returning subscriber, please leave us a like if you like this video. Also, check out our links down below. We have a Patreon link down there, which will gain you access to some exclusive lessons over on my Patreon site and monthly jam sessions and so on. So check that out. I've also got some affiliate links down below with Sweetwater Sound and Amazon. And if you make a purchase through those links down below, I get a small commission. So that's enough business for now. Let's take a look at this classic from the early days of rock and roll called Tequila for mandolin here on RPM. Okay, Tequila, boy, it's one of the most fun songs you're ever going to play on mandolin, at least I think so. I love playing along with this song. It's really fun, and it starts off with this little chord progression, this little chord movement, I guess, from the F chord to the E flat chord. F and E flat, you don't come across those very often in a rock and roll song, and, you know, even in mandolin, I don't see those chords, especially the E flat, very often, but here we have to learn that to get this song down and play it accurately along with the original. So what is that? Well, that first lick goes, or the first chords go. All right, so what is that? Well, you're starting with that F chord, as I mentioned. It's 5th fret of the G string here, and then 7th fret of the D, and 8th fret of your A string. All right, I'm just playing these 3 strings here, so there's an F chord, F major chord, all right? Then you're gonna move down just 2 frets, 1, 2, to get an E flat chord there, okay? E flat major now. So it's at the 3rd fret of the G string, 5th fret of the D, and now the 6th fret of the A, all right? So those are your 2 chords, F and E flat. Again, I'm not playing this high E string, don't worry about that, all right? Now, the rhythm pattern is a little bit tricky. All right, and here's where you really got to have your right hand strumming or your picking hand strumming down. All right, so it goes. All right, so that's just downstrokes at first. 1, 2, 3. Right, so F, F, E flat. Like that, okay? And that second part I'm going to play with down and up strokes. All right, so you see how I started adding in some upstrokes there on that second part of it? So F, right there. So, and I put a slight little ghost note in there, so like that. That's where you pull your fingers up off the frets just slightly to deaden them, and you hit like that with your picking hand, all right? So, you hear all those ghost notes I'm putting in there? So, like that. Okay, so the first time goes like that. It goes da-na-na-na, so dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, da-na-na-na, like that. So now the second time goes, it's slightly different. It goes it just jumps from that F to the E flat a little bit more quickly than the first time through. So the first time through you go, right? And then the second time through, you see that little, and that's a little tricky to keep that pattern together while you're moving around. So one more time, I'll show you that chord pattern. It's see that? So slightly different on the second time through. All right, now you want to learn that saxophone part, that main lick to this song that goes. All right, and then sometimes in the song he does down to there, okay? So what is that? Well, while the chords are doing that little pattern that I showed you off the top there, you're going... It's a bit tricky, a bit of a stretch here, but it's really cool. So you're starting on that C note, which is the 5th fret of the G string, and they're jumping up to the F note here. All right, so what are you doing there? Where you're going 5, 3, like this, and very quick on that first one, like that. And then you're sliding down to the 1st fret here. So here's the tricky part, okay? So I'm taking my index finger here on that F note, and I'm sliding that down, or I'm moving that down, not really sliding, but moving it down to the 1st fret to catch that note there, okay? So you're like this. Very slowly. And then you're using your pinky finger to grab that 5th fret all the way up there, all on the D string, okay? So those notes are D string notes other than this one on the G. So the pickup note on the G, and then back to the G string again. So one more time. So 5, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 5. Okay? Right? Okay, so... And I'm doing down and up strokes here. I'm going... Here, when I'm reaching from the 1st fret to the 5th, I'm kind of doing down and up stroke there, okay? Like that. Okay, so the pattern ends with this. Okay, you've done that now, and then like that to the F note there, okay? So what's that? Like that. So 5, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, okay? And then down to there. So 5, 3, 1, 5, 1, 5. One more time all the way through. You see how I went down to that C note the second time, a little bit different than going to the F note as the first time does. Okay, those are the main licks for I guess the verses of this song. Now the chorus. Like that, Tequila. Okay, so what are those chords? Well, that's a really cool little G sharp diminished chord. All right? And you can play that diminished chord just about anywhere on the neck. G sharp. This one also works too. If you know anything about diminished chords, you can move them all up and down the neck every 3 frets. But I'm going to play, for the rhythm part in the song, I'm going to play it down here. All right, so it's a G sharp diminished. There's your root, the G sharp. That's the 1st fret on the G string. Then I've got the open D here. And then I've got 2nd fret of the A. Okay? That's a B note. So that's your G sharp diminished. And then I'm just going to an F chord. It's almost right next to it there, right? So G sharp diminished, F chord there, okay? Like that. So what's the F chord? 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the A. Okay, so, and the pattern, the strumming goes. So it kind of comes in a 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the F kind of comes in on an upstroke or a muted note, like that. Okay, so that's G sharp diminished and F chord. Okay, the next part is, it's just G to C7, all right? So what you want to do is move that F chord from there just up 2 frets, 1, 2, to here, and you get a G chord, all right? So that's the 4th fret of the G string, 5th fret of the D, 5th fret of the A, all right? And then you're going to a C7 chord, which is 3rd fret of the G, 2nd fret of the D, and your C note, which is the 3rd fret of the A string, right? Okay, G sharp diminished, F. G sharp diminished, F. 3 times. G chord, C7. So, and once on that C7 to end the phrase. Okay, so the G chord is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Okay. I'm just doing down and up strokes. In fact, I'm doing down and up strokes on all of these chords, right? Like that. Okay, and what was that saxophone lick that I played over top of that little chord progression, the G sharp diminished chord progression? Well, it's... And then, now this one you can play with tremolo or you can play it without tremolo, all right? So, what is that? Well, that's the open D. Start with your open D, and then 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6. You're ending up on that 6th note, which is the G sharp note that goes along with that G sharp diminished chord, all right? And that's the note that you can add tremolo to if you want. Or you can just play it like this. Right? So again, open D, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret. Okay, so... And then back to that F note again there, the 3rd fret. And then I add a little, kind of the top half of that F chord we learned at the beginning of the song. Well, it's just these 2 notes here that I'm using. 7th fret of the D string, 8th fret of the A. And I'm just doing it once, like that. So, like that. Right? And then the same thing, G, C7. Okay? So over that, again, over those 2 chords, the G sharp diminished to F, I'm going... And that's it. That's the second part of the saxophone lick, going up to there, and that little, right? Leading up to the word tequila. Okay, so that is most of the song. Of course, there's a saxophone solo in this tune as well. If you wanted to ad-lib something over that, it's in the key of F. You can use your F minor scale if you want, or F minor pentatonic, but I'm just going to show you the chords right at the end of the song now. It just goes... Tequila again, right? So that's just those same chords from the beginning as I showed you before, an F to an E flat chord, both major chords, and it just goes... So it just ends with a... Right? So that's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. F, F, E flat, F. That's how the song ends. So one more time for the ending. Like that, tequila. Okay, that is my tutorial for Tequila. Really fun song to play on the mandolin, especially if you're jamming along with the original track or jamming along with another musician, maybe on acoustic guitar or something like that. It's a lot of fun to play, so I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Thanks very much for tuning into this tutorial. If you're new here, don't forget, hit that subscriber button on the way out. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks very much, but give us a like if you like this video. And please check out our affiliate links and Patreon link down below. My name is Mike DeJong. Thanks again for watching RPM.